What's happening, sports fans? Happy Thursday. We are just one day away from the weekend, and I personally am ready for it. It has been a long week. It is almost done, and we have got some fun sports to talk about tonight. Certainly tomorrow, Finance Friday tomorrow. I texted at Bets by Chase earlier. Going to have some more picks coming your way. Tomorrow we'll certainly recap what we have won on, what we have lost on so far, and look ahead to the weekend as well. Tonight, a little bit of a mismatch of things to talk about. We're going to start with the Rob Higgins press conference. Listen to a few minutes of that. The parts I thought were most interesting. Might fast forward a little bit. We are going to check in on the Tampa Bay Lightning, specifically the Andrei Vasilevsky absence. See if there is anything of note there. Lightning also just tweeted out as I was firing up my Chrome browsers. I forgot to brag about, we're up to 2 monitors now. If you count my laptop, one is up and running. It's beautiful. The other I can't quite figure out, but we'll get there. That's okay. As I was getting that fired up, the Tampa Bay Lightning put out a tweet that links to new how to watch for different markets. I want to look a little bit at that just to kind of see the nuts and bolts. It's kind of a press release of sorts. And as someone who is always interested in TV media, radio media, etc., I just want to see what this link is, read a little bit about it, see if there's anything interesting there. Also, a couple stats that have jumped off the page to me about the Eagles that I think are worth chatting about, and then we'll take a look ahead at the weekend to come up. A little bit of national college football, take a look at the American Athletic Conference, what's going on there, other big games to watch, take a look at NFL Sunday. I'm guessing we probably have the game of the weekend, if not literally by Fox's game of the weekend standards, the actual best game of the weekend. Plenty to talk about, so let's jump right into it. And let's start with USF, because it's been a couple days since we have spoken much about them.
I'm going to let it rip.
And that is Rob Higgins that you hear in the background. I'm going to let this play. Might fast forward through a couple parts. This is not the whole press conference, and I'd really encourage you, if you have not listened to it already, and you are a USF alum or a fan of USF, go listen to it, because what I'm going to play for you today is the parts that I find most interesting. It was a very enjoyable listen for a number of reasons. As I touched on a couple times, I think yesterday and Monday, you can just feel Rob's love for USF, and it's very genuine in a way we have never had anybody in a position like this love the program, because he is a Bull, and that is not a knock on people who have come before. I think a lot of people have done a fine job or done their best at the very least. I don't know if this is the last job Rob Higgins will ever have, but he's certainly talking about it like he wants it to be, and that's really exciting. So we'll play this. Apologize ahead of time. I think the audio will sound okay. I've not had the time to be as proactive in cutting and preparing audio. I think this monitor will help a little bit this week, and we'll get there. But for now, playing it off the phone. So let's take a listen to some of the Rob Higgins introductory event. Does not want it called a press conference, from the USF Athletics Facebook page.
Hopefully this doesn't offend anyone either. We are not America's next great university. We are not rising, and we damn sure don't have potential. We are AAU. We are in the largest media market in the state, and we have arrived. Eventually, you have to land the plane before it runs out of gas. And it's critically important that everyone realizes our time as Bulls is right now. We're going to put a premium on process and performance, and we'll no longer tolerate using potential as an excuse or a crutch. The days of defining ourselves based off of some immeasurable metric of potential are now over. The negativity that we've seen from time to time around our program is officially over as well. We have the resources, including revenue share, facilities, and coaches to win right now in the American. Am I right? Yes. I can tell you what we don't and won't have, though, and that's excuses and regrets. We're going to be proactive, prepared, and please know we have a very, very detailed plan. For perspective, to win Super Bowls, we would go in and present to the NFL owners for 10 minutes. To land this role, I presented to Will, Mike, Jay, and the president for a total of 10 hours. You heard that right. 10 hours instead of 10 minutes. In the interest of time, don't worry. I'm not going to roll out our plan and have you here till midnight. I already see our kids starting to doze off over here a little bit. But I'll give you a quick...
That's actually insane if you just take a minute to think about that. And I don't know, would imagine it was broken up into a couple different sessions. I've had some long interview processes, none of them 10 hours.
Basic overview. Win the building, then win campus, then win the community, then win the country. In that order. You can't expect to win the hearts and minds of campus until we know we have our very own people 100% bought in and obsessed with what we get a chance to do every day.
Huge fan of that. As someone who, I mentioned this ad nauseum, USF is my number one of the sports teams in Tampa Bay. Has been for quite a while. I love the football team. I love the basketball team, the women's basketball team. I follow all three of those, admittedly more close than any of the other teams. I love them. I love campus. I love the people that I met at USF. I love a lot of my professors that I had at USF. I love Temple Terrace. It has not been embraced as much as it needed to be by the administration, the athletic department, etc. And I think it comes from not having enough people, because there are some there right now, especially now with Rob doing what he seems to be doing, who feel that way. But starting there is priority number one. And credit to Mike Kelly and everyone who got this on-campus stadium rolling. That's a big part of it.
I've always been surrounded by great teams, and this will be no different. We will have the top sports business talent in the country at USF Athletics. Some are in the building now, and some are arriving soon. We're talking about one-of-one individuals that will make up a one-of-one modernized and professionalized athletic department that runs like the high-powered nine-figure business that it is. People with not only the skill, but also the will to be elite. I know our coaches are obsessed, and our administration is going to be equally obsessed. That's how we win the building, and from there, we're going to win campus, and then we're going to win the community and the country. We are not taking shortcuts. We've failed in the past when we skipped one of those 4 steps and got ahead of ourselves.
Admitting that is huge, and I will be interested to see, just coming out and saying, hiring the best sports business professionals. To a degree, every athletic department is composed of sports business professionals, but maybe it's because I'm on the outside looking in of being in minor league sports business, like sports business, hockey, baseball, G League, football. I've always kind of viewed athletic departments differently, even though there are a lot of roles that are very similar. And I'm curious to know with Rob's background if there's going to be any kind of shift in structure, et cetera. I'm sure we'll know sooner than later.
When others are getting out of college athletics, that's when we went in. When others are selling, that's when we are buying. While everyone else laments the good old days of college athletics, we truly believe this is the golden era of college athletics, where the student athletes are finally getting what they deserve. We will lead from the front every step of the way. Plain and simple, there's no better time to be in college athletics, and there's no better place to be than USF. Sure. To get where we need to go, it's going to take countless transparent conversations. I'll proactively tackle one topic now. People want to think and talk about our future league affiliation in the changing landscape of college sports as TV contracts start to expire in the next 4 years. Please know, I realize that that's the single biggest metric for which we will be judged. The American has been a great partner to us, and that starts with their commissioner and my friend Tim Pernetti. Tim is a disruptor. He's gritty. He's unapologetic. He's innovative. He has a roll-up-your-sleeves mentality, which embodies exactly what we're striving to be. However, what Tim is not is naive. Do we have aspirations? Yes. Tim knows that. I was with him last weekend, and we literally spoke about it. He also knows we'll strive to be the absolute best member of the American to help make the league better. Mark my words, we will be a trusted and transparent partner to Tim. That's who we are. That's what we do. However, as you look at realignment and take a hard look in the mirror at this very moment, we currently probably check 2 to 3 of the 4 boxes needed. We have the academics and the television market. Our resources are improving, and now our performance is starting to trend in the right direction. We have a very small window here before the realignment discussions are likely to begin, and it requires all gas and no brakes from everyone in this room and outside of the room. Think about this. Every successful conference move that has been made in an upward trajectory has been based off of performance, and guess what it hasn't been based off of? Potential. The few moves that have happened based off of potential are really easy to find today. Just look at the bottom of nearly every sports standings in that conference. We're not going anywhere to be in the basement, Bulls fans. USF plans for and deserves the penthouse. We're going to work 24/7, 365 to make it happen. Our goal isn't to get there, it's to get there and win there. We're about to send a message to campus, to the community and the country that stands the test of time. Much like the 35-year-old letter from Coach Stinelli.
Okay, that is a big deal. Rob Higgins, I don't think has technically started. He mentioned in this press conference that I don't officially start until this date. Let's call this his day one for argument's sake. What he said there sounded very warm and political, and I mean, credit to Rob. My head kind of spun around at this part of the press conference. What he's saying is we're out of here. And of course I'm talking about in terms of the American Athletic Conference. How he said it was veiled in extreme professionalism, but was about as direct as you can be without crossing that line. And I think he did a very nice job of that. That should really excite USF fans. He mentioned earlier, too, before he dove into the conference talk, having a very detailed plan. I've gotten the impression, based off of the rollout of things from the on-campus stadium to the announcement of Rob Higgins to certain changes we've seen in the operations of the football team, the athletic department, that they are working towards something, and I wonder if that goal might be known by them already. It is very exciting, if that is the case, or if it is further away than we can imagine, to have someone that we just heard talk in the position to bring us there. Because, in my opinion, there could not be a better fit with the experience he has working with these conferences, working with the people who are adjacent to those conferences, coming in through his work at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. It is a very exciting time to be a Bull. I don't think we will be in the American Athletic Conference much longer. I certainly hope we win it before we leave it. And let's take that as our opportunity to take a look at what is coming up this weekend. We're going to get into the Bucs-Eagles game in just a little bit, but I love me some college football. And right now, American Athletic Conference action going on. East Carolina. Quickly just seeing other American teams. How about the shot of teams acquired by other conferences based off potential, who are now at the bottom of those conference standings? I wonder who he could be talking about. Love that. Again, said it as nicely as you can, but got the point across. Our Army's getting run over right now. East Carolina is taking it to them. It's 20-0. Army lost in that shootout versus North Texas. They also beat Kansas State. We were just enjoying to see that getting ripped. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Kansas State plays Central Florida this week. Let's see if I'm correct about that. Yes, and right now, all right, this is going back to what I was saying. I cannot stand the University of Central Florida. I mean, I hate them. They're up there with any sports team. Boston Red Sox, cannot stand them. UCF, Boston Bruins. See a theme developing there with some of those teams. The UCF Knights are traveling to Kansas State. So they are on the road. They are 6.5-point dogs at a Kansas State team who lost in Ireland to start the season, nearly lost to North Dakota at home, lost to Army at home by 3, and just lost to Arizona. Let's look at Army, back where we started this thing. Army started the season by losing to Tarleton State. That is with a T. Tarleton State. I don't know who Tarleton State is. I'll tell you, I did just look. They're 5-0. I haven't played anybody, but they beat Chattanooga, Central Arkansas, Mississippi Valley State. Hung 50 on all of them, but still, they're Tarleton State. All due respect. Army lost to them at home. Then beat Kansas State. Right now, Army is getting their doors blown off. Now it's 21-0 by an East Carolina team that has not done much impressive. I don't know. I don't want to tell people to bet on UCF because that just hurts my soul, but I kind of like UCF to at least cover versus Kansas State. I know it's not a Finance Friday, but that tangent got out of hand. I apologize. Coming up this week in the American, North Texas hosts South Alabama. North Texas looking to move to 5-0. Let's see, they've got a bye before they host us. That's unfortunate. So we have our bye this weekend. They play South Alabama, and then they will be on the couch eating popcorn watching us play Charlotte next week, and then we will have to travel to go see them. That is going to be a tough football game, I do believe. Navy hosts Rice this weekend. Tulane looking to bounce back against a Tulsa team that's going to be riding high. That's actually an interesting one to keep an eye on. Certainly think Tulane is the better team, but you wonder if Tulsa's got some juice. Would be very interesting for Tulane to pick up an early conference loss. Again, not expecting it, but we'll keep an eye on that. And Florida Atlantic hosts Memphis. That game in the great state of Florida. Let's take a look now at some of the more notable national games going on that are worth watching. Florida State playing Virginia. We'll definitely keep an eye on Florida State, in my mind specifically because they have Miami next week at Doak Campbell, and Miami's performance the rest of the year could end up being pertinent to USF should the Bulls take care of business and win a conference championship and be in consideration. If the Bulls were to run the table, it might not matter too much, but remember, you do not have to run the table per se to win the American Athletic Conference, and if we start looking at quality of wins, if Miami continues to be what I think they are, which is a top 3-2-1 team in the country, that could matter. So we'll keep an eye on that. USC at Illinois. Illinois looking to bounce back after getting shellacked by Indiana. Rutgers, Minnesota. I always know more about Minnesota sports than I should. Ethan Kaliakmanis, quarterback at Rutgers, returns to play a Minnesota team that moved on from him. I think I saw that Minnesota's favorites, kind of like Rutgers in that game. Again, I don't want to do too much finance talk here on a Thursday. We'll save a lot of that for tomorrow. LSU at Ole Miss. That's a big one. Heard this game discussed on national talk radio today. Ole Miss is, I think, kind of the attractive pick right now. Everyone likes what Lane Kiffin has going on. They looked very good last week versus what I think is a pretty decent Tulane team. especially when everyone in the world pretty much hates Brian Kelly. You want to pick Ole Miss, but LSU looks good. That's an early kick, too, at 2:30, which might actually play into LSU's favor to keep that place from rocking too much. A lot of eyes where I'm up here in the Quad Cities is going to be on Indiana, Iowa at 2:30. Indiana now 11th in the country. They have got some steam after that big Illinois win. They're going for the Quad Cities sweep, beating Illinois last week. Will try and beat Iowa this week. An Iowa team that is just coming off a win versus Rutgers, I do believe. Scrolling down, I know we got Alabama, Georgia. That is 17th ranked Alabama at number 5 Georgia. That is the big one at 6:30. And we'll keep an eye, too, on Boise State, another foe we have faced and smashed. They play host to Appalachian State. That game also a 6:30 kickoff. Stats that stuck out to me looking at some team numbers for the Philadelphia Eagles. Specifically rushing and passing. Opponents are out-rushing and out-passing them. Average per game, out-passing them by about... Wait a minute. What's going on here? There we go. Out-passing them by about 40 yards per game, out-rushing them by about 20 yards per game. Red zone defense has been good. Eagles have 10 touchdowns to their opponent's 6. They have also been... taking their opponents down in time of possession, averaging just under 33 minutes to their opponents roughly 27 minutes. They are going to try and wear the Bucs down physically. It will really fall on the offensive line to hold up. I do trust the offense to move the ball and have the opportunity to score. As of today, it feels like, based off the reporting, seeing from One Buck Place, that Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin will be playing. Still feel a little more confident in Tristan Wirfs. Could be huge to have Godwin back as well. Tristan Wirfs, him being back, would make all the difference in the world. It'll be interesting to see how hard the Bucs push if he is back, and indeed what difference that makes. I want to finish with the Tampa Bay Lightning first. Before we get into the Vasilevsky news, I mentioned that How to Watch tweet that the Lightning put out. Click the link to that. It takes us to the Lightning website. The Lightning have teamed up, this reads, with Scripps Sports to make both television broadcasts available to everyone across the Bay Area and beyond, starting with the 25-26 season. Fans will have a number of ways to watch, including free over-the-air. Oh, cool. Cable, satellite, and digital streaming. Digital streaming is available via the Lightning app for a subscription of $66 per season. That's really not bad. I wonder if that's available to people outside the Bay Area. That would be fantastic. No matter how or where they are now, Tampa Bay, again, I don't know. Oh, out of market. Let's be a little bit selfish. Out of market. Nah, I don't think it is available out of market. Dang, that's okay. Well, let's talk about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, it is on Direct, Charter, Frontier, Summit, Advanced Cable, over the air on 66.1. That's super cool. If you are not a cable person or do not have YouTube TV, it also does say you can stream on iOS, Fire TV, Google Play, Fubo, Android, Apple TV, and Roku. But you can get a digital antenna for like $25, slap it on a window, and you get pretty good signal, and it is on 66.1 WXPX. So lots of ways to keep track of the Lightning. I'll see if I can find out about that digital thing. It appears that is not available to people outside of Tampa Bay, but we'll try and find out. Andrei Vasilevsky. I scrolled back, and it appears that after Andrei Vasilevsky did start camp last week, the first day he missed was Saturday. I do believe that is the case. Today is the 25th. Well, that's no help to me. Calendar not working. Today is the 25th. So Saturday was the 20th. Andrei Vasilevsky was not on the ice. Day 4, Go Bolts training camp. This is all from Eduardo Encina, who has been doing a really nice job of covering the Lightning. Day 4 of Go Bolts training camp practice. The main group will go on the ice at 11:30. We'll get a look at Jack Finley. Andrei Vasilevsky will not be on the ice. Okay, so he has not been on the ice since Saturday. We were told Saturday by John Cooper, who as I evaluate this situation, I feel like I should be clear. I love John Cooper. He is not only obviously my favorite NHL coach, probably my favorite pro sports coach. I just really appreciate his style. He said on Saturday, Eduardo Encina at Eddie in the Yard on X asked John Cooper about Vasilevsky. He, quote, he's just going through some treatments and stuff that, it's player management. So he'll be back out probably a few days, latest, hopefully a week, and then he'll be back in there. So that would mean that Andrei Vasilevsky, theoretically there, worst case, would be back on this coming Saturday. That is not the case. There was a follow-up to that tweet. Asked Cooper whether there's any uncertainty whether Vasilevsky will be ready for opening of the season. Quote, I hope not. So like I said, a lot of this is player management. That's why we're doing that right now. I did not see that tweet when we first started chatting about this. That's a little concerning. All of this has been concerning. That adds to my concern. Article today from Eduardo Encina. This was updated 3 hours ago, published 4 hours ago in the Tampa Bay Times. It reads, it's been a long week since Andrei Vasilevsky went absent by not participating in the Lightning's first main group scrimmage last Friday. He hasn't practiced since, but head coach John Cooper said today, the starting goaltender will return in a matter of days. Cooper said he expects Vasilevsky to resume practicing on Monday after preseason home games Friday and Saturday and an off day on Sunday. There's every expectation Vasilevsky will have enough time and game action to be ready for the regular season opener October 9th against Ottawa, Cooper said. Last year's Vezina Trophy winner has missed the last 5 days of practice, hasn't skated since practicing last Friday before sitting out the first main group scrimmage. Everything's on schedule, Cooper said, unless there's any hiccups. Hope to see him in one of the preseason games, not this weekend, but the following weekend. I have two trains of thoughts on this. If you want to manage his load more throughout the season, it can make sense. Let's get you on the ice. All right, you feeling good? Good. We're going to go ahead and give you a week here. Let these young guys get some time. Drop one of them off and bring you back in the week so you've got some steam leading right up to those first games. That does make more sense, and we're going to give you the week off right before the regular season starts. We want to ramp you up. We don't want you to come back in. However, it is just concerning to be missing this much time this early. This is not a day. This is not a weekend. This is 10 days now in training camp after an off season. We will continue to keep an eye on this. Make sure you're following at Eddie in the Yard, Eduardo Encina on Twitter. He is doing a great job covering camp. That'll do it for us tonight. It's Friday tomorrow, everybody. We have almost gotten there. Thanks very much tuning into the Tampa Bay podcast. Go Bulls, go Bolts. We will talk to you again tomorrow.